All right, everybody rolling?
Yep.
I'm rocking. Does that count?
Kill yourself.
Well, that's just extreme as fuck.
All right, fine. I'll lower it down. I'm gonna rape you.
Oh,
What did we just fucking say?
okay, let's do this. Okay. You ready? Ready.
Yeah.
Hola, bienvenidos a la Forum 3 Podcast 92. Soy tu anfitrión, Señor Fusion. Conmigo esta noche, el hombre con empadronillo, Chaos Mana.
Hey.
El pendejo suave, Kijin Lee.
Ciao.
El hombre de las mujeres les encanta, Zap 45.
Hola.
El amigo de todos el mundo, Señor Woodberg.
Guten Tag.
Y el gringo flaco.
Telemundo. Okay.
What's up, guys? How's it
Sprechen
going?
Sie Deutsch?
Hey, it's a podcast.
Hey,
What was that?
That was amazing.
that was the Telemundo. You've never heard my Telemundo voice?
No,
He
we've
totally
never heard
fucking-
of
Telemundo.
No, I don't think we've heard you speak in Spanish longer than a word.
I'm
Esta
so
noche.
speechless, bro.
All right,
Is
did,
that
you,
no
did
shit?
you write that down, or are you very fluent?
I can be fluent if I want to, but
Okay.
I wrote
Nah,
some
but
of it.
if you want
I
to,
wrote
yeah.
some of it down just because.
You have to say it fast.
Oh, just so you know, el hombre con el pavñeo, que es mana. It's the man with all the answers. El pendejo suave means the smooth motherfucker.
Yeah.
El hombre los mujeres les encanta means the guy the bitches love. And
Nice.
What does that
And-
mean? What does that mean? What is the English translation for the English translation?
and el gringo flaco just means the skinny white boy. So
Yeah, I knew as soon as you
Ringo
said
Blanco.
Ringo, I'm like, that's totally no bod, isn't
and
it?
then of course Mr. Warburg is el amigo de todos el mundo. That means everybody's friend because
Yeah,
that's
that's a good one. Shout out to Kevin with two N's at the end of his name. He just friended me on Rooster Teeth.
he's so cool. He needs
Yeah.
two ends, not one.
What the
Kevin.
fuck you doing, Kevin?
Kevin!
Okay, so it's the Forum Thread podcast number 92, and I'm not going to do the English version because you can all go back and plug it into some website and
Translator or something.
translator and figure it all out.
Oh, you basically just explained it.
I know.
You
Yeah.
said all.
So wait, is the translator gonna be our intro on YouTube?
Yes. It's gonna be a robotic voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Google Translate voice will be our intro voice.
that
for
sounds
this.
beautiful.
So what's going on,
Okay.
guys?
I just
Apparently
finished a
big-
Advanced Warfare stream.
How'd
Were you
that
streaming
go?
before this?
Yeah, I was streaming on the TFT channel before this.
Did everybody
Yeah.
watch it?
You hijacked the channel.
Yeah.
I did hijack the channel. I had like 7 viewers. I stole a few of your viewers and Zach. I think Zach's the only person that gave me feedback from it.
Yeah. I said
How'd
it
you
was
do?
okay
They suck.
because Nobot's
Pretty
cool.
okay.
I guess he's not completely an idiot, so it's
Oh,
Oh,
a
some
quick
of
shout
us
out to
want pro
Lizelda.
adopting.
In case guys don't know, she is like in the process of boarding a plane from
She's
Detroit
flying
to
to-
Austin.
Her latest tweet is quite fun.
Planes
Yes.
crash, yo.
Her seat buddy is overweight, and he's pressed his arm against her arm. So that's
How does a seat buddy work?
That's so cute, yo. You got a thing going on. Tap that.
Well, I have to ask, Nobod, how many plane rides have you had in your life?
How many plane rides? Oh my gosh, I had 3 on the way to RTX last
Okay.
year.
Is that the only 3 you've
So
ever
you
been
have
on? though?
3?
I've been on like 4 more other than
Okay.
that going.
So
to
have you
Michigan.
had a morbidly obese person sitting next to you with sweaty forearms?
No, I have
Because-
not.
That is the worst fucking thing ever.
The
I-
closest thing I had was my friend. I don't remember his name, but I fucking took the plane ride up to him to RTX, and we hung out in the Houston airport where they had beer in the airport.
Oh, yeah,
It was crazy.
the George Bush Intercontinental Airport rocks, man.
Yeah,
It's also huge. The terminals are like far away.
yeah, dude. It was actually still kind of weird though, because we had to go through Houston to get to Austin, which was really annoying.
I had a dude I sat next to last year on the plane when I was flying to California. Okay.
Yeah,
He was a rabbi. He came on the I had the aisle seat. He had the middle seat. He came up to the thing. He looked at me in the outside seat, and he looked at the middle seat. And he just like huffs and puffs. He's like, and then he tries to convince me that it's against his religion to sit in the middle seat. And I'm like, are you fucking
What?
kidding me? And I look at my family, and then they're in the other aisle. They're just like, this guy's fucking crazy.
Wait,
And
how
I'm
old
like,
is this person?
he was probably about 50. He looked like the
Okay.
traditional rabbi with the curls and the long beard and the costume. So I'm like, okay, this guy's crazy. So I'm just gonna give him the outside seat. I'm very tiny.
Fuck
I'll just
that.
sit in the
Stand
middle.
your ground.
I think
So
it's
I
because you're
sat-
white.
I sat in the middle, and this guy immediately he just sits there, just staring at. He doesn't do anything. He just sits there and stares at the back of the seat, and then eventually his eyes close and he starts rocking back and forth. The plane is taken off at this point, and then he finally just bang right into the front seat, and he just stays there with his hat on. His hat is like curling up in front of his face, and he's just like literally sleeping like that. And then, after a while, like I'm staring at this guy playing my Game Boy, and the stewardess comes around. He asks for a drink. He falls asleep with the drink in his hand. Again, falls forward against the seat and just falls back asleep.
Does it spill?
No, oh, well, it's about to. So he just starts. Now he starts leaning on it,
Spoiling the story, man.
and I could see it. It's like, the cup is just turning towards me, and I'm like, excuse me, and he looks like he's out cold.
Oh,
But as soon as he
yeah.
spills, he's like, oh, I'm sorry. But he doesn't even try to clean it up. He just like lets it fall on the ground and spill on me. And I'm like,
Yo,
dude, are
I
you serious?
I straight spilled Sprite on this one girl on the plane.
I'm
ride
not
back.
done my fucking story.
Jesus.
The salt is real with Tejan right now.
Jesus.
All right, let's go, Tejan. Hurry it up. Be better at this.
Actually, I'm done my story. He just smelled really bad too. Anyway, after that,
Like curry?
he
Did
just
smell like curry?
no, he just smelled bad. So.
Oh.
It's
And
And
rabbi,
he just
so I
and he
just
just
assumed.
stood and then he didn't go back to sleep and he just stood at this chair again and I'm like looking over at him. I'm like, you're gonna just go, you're just gonna snap on this plane, aren't you? And eventually, like, and when we
He's gonna
landed,
blow the fuck up.
he didn't bring any bags with him either. He just stood up and like literally sprinted off the plane. And that
Oh,
was
that
it. He
is-
charged in
that is
front of
sketchy.
everybody and got off the plane.
Dude,
And that was the
that's-
end of that. But
And
I have to go
bomb
back
off.
to something. The fact that from all of this,
Probably
the
a
only
rape
thing I've
victim.
taken is that Nobot thinks that rabbis eat curry.
rabbis are Jewish, aren't
Yes, they're Jewish,
they?
dude.
Yeah.
They're from the Middle East,
So,
bro.
No,
They like
oh
curry?
my god.
not all.
Well-
not all rabbis are Middle
Oh my
Eastern.
god.
All right, where did
Technically,
Judaism
the
start?
Comes from
geographic
the Middle
region
East
is
too, dude.
very
Where the
close.
fuck did Judaism start? Let me ask that.
Where did Christianity start?
So, Fusion,
Yes.
one of the biggest reasons that you were so excited, like just a little bit ago, what is this big announcement?
It's not so much an announcement, it's just it started off as a rumor that looks like it has wheels, but of course there's some denial. Anyway, we all talked
Wheels
about the
on.
Sony hack a few months
Yeah.
Are
ago.
you going
real.
to talk about the same thing I was going to talk about?
Yeah,
Awesome.
whether it is. That's why
Y'all
Teach
know
Lee's
it
on the
wasn't
cast.
real.
Stop.
We're going to go
Counts.
comic book for a little bit here.
Yeah.
Latino Review Today, which is a blog, and they've actually, and I've
Apparently
mentioned
they're
this on
really
Twitter.
good at finding leaks.
Yeah, they finding leaks regarding comic book related content, like movies and TV. They've
And
been
they're
very
not a
good
comic
about
book blog.
that. What's that?
They're not a comic book blog.
I
right?
know. But
Probably just know
that's-
people.
he was on top
Ooh.
of the whole Guardians of the Galaxy thing a few years ago before they even announced it, or when it was just there weren't even talks about it. It was just he posted stuff, and they posted stuff, and ended up being
I
true.
think it's just Joe Quesada. He's the guy who runs that blog. Or
He's
that-
either an inside man or he just is really good at like deduction
Yeah.
and like he just sees the numbers like Neo or some shit.
But anyway,
It's got
so today's
pictures.
blog, he posted his theories on what's going to happen with the Marvel Cinematic Universe in Phase 3. And if you go to my tweets, and I think also the journal that I posted on Rooster Teeth, there's a link to the article. And just so you guys know, there are potential spoilers because he's posted his theories on top of the rumors and on top of the things. So I don't want to ruin it for people. But the tidbit of it is that a few months back, it was leaked out in the emails that Sony was going to have a quote-unquote Spider-Man summit with Marvel to work
Yeah.
out a deal. And I think years ago, I think at the very beginning of the TFT podcast, very early on, when we talked about the Avengers, I brought this up that and towards the end of production of the Avengers, Marvel, there was a rumor that Marvel and Sony had talked about doing a cameo of the Oscorp Tower in New York in the Avengers, and it didn't fall through. I mean, it fell through. They were negotiating, and it fell through at the last minute.
That sucks.
Anyway, fast forward a few years. So apparently, last year in a conference call, the Sony executives talked about selling off some of their movie rights, and Spider-Man would be one of them. Well, of course, a lot of people were pointing at Disney purchasing the rights, and then Sony kind of laughed it off. Their execs laughed it off and said, "Oh, we were just kidding." Blah 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 blah. And then after that, Amazing Spider-Man 2 tanked both critically and financially. Fast forward to this year. They were talking about having a summit once again to obtain the rights or share the rights of Spider-Man. And if you're a big comic book person, you have to know that when you talk about the Avengers, for the past 20, 25 years, Spider-Man's a part of that in some way, shape, or form. The Civil War, which is part of the next phase in Phase 3, and I'm sure T. Lee and I have been talking about doing a TFT talks about this because
soon
we really should talk about Phase 3 because it's very crucial where they're going in the direction of the franchises and expanding.
What's the movie that kicks off Phase 3?
It's
I thought it was Doctor Strange.
I thought it was Captain America: The Civil War.
No,
Well,
No, I don't think it's that because they just
is
released
Ant-Man
Captain 2.
technically 2?
It's Phase 2.
Ant-Man is technically Phase 2, yes.
It's going to be in between
like
the...
late Phase 2.
Yeah.
But that's
So-
coming out before the
2.1.
Avengers, correct?
No.
Ant-Man's not
No.
going to be part of the...
It's going to be
Avengers 2?
It's going to be post Avengers 2, but in Phase 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I always
So,
thought he was
here are the
pretty
dates.
important. with
Here are the
Ultron.
dates.
He is. Hank Pym, that's making me like, okay, how are they going to play off Hank Pym?
Maybe
in
they'll
this?
rope in Hank Pym, but
Okay,
not
here's how Ant-Man's going to work. Hank Pym created the Ant-Man character, and there's going to be a backstory that no one knows about with Ant-Man. And then we fast forward to the present where Scott Lang gets out of jail, but Hank Pym passes the torch over to him to get more involved because of what's
Tiny
going on.
torch.
Yeah, what's going on with all these heroes popping up out of nowhere. So there's going to be a backstory of like the 70s or whatever, where Hank Pym was Ant-Man, and no one really knew that he was a hero doing hero work. And of course, the one thing fans are really upset about is that there's no tie-in to Hank Pym to Ultron, and in the comics, Hank Pym is the one that creates Ultron.
Not Tony Stark.
And his
Not
wife
Tony
is the
Ultron?
person who actually names
Is
the
Ultron kind of like
Avengers.
Voltron?
No.
I mean,
Oh,
yes,
shit.
because he's a robot, but that's about it.
But yeah, like Wasp
you
is
lied to
supposed
me
to
then.
also be the person who names the Avengers
Yes.
like a bunch of times.
Terminator's
So here's
also
Phase
a
3.
robot.
Here's Phase 3. May 6th of 2016 is where Phase 3 kicks off. Captain America: Civil War. Doctor Strange in November,
Aha, I knew it.
and in May also Guardians of the Galaxy 2. In July, Thor: Ragnarok, which I want to tell you guys, if you've read the Thor comics at all, Ragnarok, the story itself, there are some serious consequences to the character. So
Oh,
just-
Are they going to go
Well,
with the
it's-
character of Ragnarok or the event of Ragnarok?
no,
Those
they're
are
going to
two
go with the
entirely
event of
They
Ragnarok.
better.
Yeah,
or that's
the
going to be
event
a
of
joke.
Ragnarok in Norse mythology is the
Yeah,
end
no,
of days.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they're also.
Also-
How are they going to
also-
have that
Ragnarok.
appear in comic form or movie form?
What, Ragnarok?
An
Yeah.
apocalypse
I don't-
movie?
Well, it's all going to center around what's
Well,
going
then,
on
and
with
then
Infinity
then
War.
continue after that.
It's Thor's probably going to be more of a tie-in to Infinity War, so I'm sure expect to see Thanos involved in that a little bit.
definitely.
And also in July, Captain Marvel, and then shoot back to
I'm excited
November.
about
We have
that.
Black Panther,
I'm also excited about
my
that.
favorite, which is the Inhumans, and then in May of 2018, you have Avengers: Infinity War.
Yeah,
So
I don't know who any of those people are.
Hey,
So
Welcome.
okay, so
Who's
anyway,
that?
Darkshire.
back to what we were talking about. Latino
cares?
Review today,
Dark's here.
in his blog, he mentioned that he has it on very high authority that Marvel and Sony have worked out a deal, and Spider-Man will be in the first Infinity War.
Cool.
Which is
So-
pretty cool.
which
considering
which
the part
Spider-Man
far
is
down
it
the
going to
line,
be
but it's
the
so
Amazing
exciting.
Spider-Man, or is it going to be like a different?
It's going to be
Creation.
recast. I think they've all said that this whole regime and the cast did not work out.
Good. Yeah.
I'm
It's a shame. I really like
really
Andrew
disappointed.
Garfield.
I really liked the movie.
I liked
Yeah.
it, and I thought he was a better Peter Parker than he
Oh,
was than
no.
Tobey Maguire.
I
No.
agree.
Better
I
Spider-Man,
completely
not
agree.
that good a Peter Parker.
I didn't like either one of them as Peter Parker at all.
Yeah, I'm not
honestly.
saying
Batman
Maguire
as
was
Peter
great, but
Parker.
he was a better Peter Parker.
Oh, just so you know, ladies and gentlemen, Darkwind Ray.
You have to say it in Spanish.
Hello. Hola, guapos.
Perfect.
So
I mean,
What's a
I
guapos?
if
Muy
I need
pequeño.
them to write a new Spider-Man movie, but it needs to be written by Brian Michael Bendis, and that's
That
it.
would be
He's the
amazing.
only
well,
one.
here's
That
the
or
problem
like
is
pretty
that
much Joss
if
Whedon.
they're gonna, well,
Which would be
okay,
amazing.
look, Infinity Wars, the first one comes out May 2018, so they have 3 years to reboot. Once again, reboot, and the danger in that is they're kind of towing a very dangerous line because if they reboot a third time, they're going to piss off a lot of people, and no one's going to go to a reboot, and then that'll just ruin the.
What if they
Couldn't they
recasted
just-
Toby?
No,
Well,
couldn't
as
they just do?
Spider-Man
I
for the
think a
Avengers?
better. I think a better solution would just to be do a short, like very short origin story of the new recast. Make Spider-Man a little younger,
But we
and
don't need
then
an
just
origin.
shoot
You
straight
just
into
have
the action.
Well, why don't they?
origins in
wait,
13 years? You does not need
Like
a new one.
porn.
Why don't they? Why don't
Just
they
a very
do
short, like
what
10,
Hulk
20
did?
minutes of the movie.
The Incredible Hulk did.
It just
The Incredible
alluded to
Hulk-
a previous movie and it was like, oh hey, on the run, we're going. Bye.
Yeah, it was a reboot without rebooting.
Yeah, exactly.
And so anyway, they're going to be if and of course Sony later this afternoon said, "Oh, there's no truth to the rumor, but this guy is standing by his word that hey, I have sources that are saying the deal was struck."
North Korea told me.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's great for Sony to do this deal because
They're hurt
the
bad anyway.
character's in shit, and he is probably the most marketable character that's undervalued in the Marvel franchise, like all of their products.
Definitely.
There's theories about what will happen in Infinity War Part 1 and 2, which I find very interesting. And if you want to read potential spoilers, which are based on his theories, go to the Latino Review, read his article, because I'm going to tell you, like, I think I've discussed this with you guys off of the live air after a podcast, but everything he said, I have said when they announced Phase 3. Like, if you go read it, it's like, yeah, you did say that. You did say that too.
So you're like the oracle of knowledge when it comes to all this.
Well, because I know my comics.
Let's circle back. Did you rate the Latino review?
I could neither confirm nor deny that.
I just figured it out. Myth
Damn it.
busted.
Myth
Bam!
busted.
Here's the thing, guys. Here's the guy. The writer and I are very different people. He wears doesn't wear glasses. I wear glasses.
Oh, shit.
His hair's
Oh.
slicked back. Mine's
That's
not.
also
We've
that's
got a
also
Clark
shot
Kent
at
thing
fucking-
going on
Yes.
right now.
So that can't be me, guys.
Foul right
That cannot
there.
be me.
Just can't. No, because that guy
Busted.
doesn't have glasses and different hair. Oh my
That
god.
would be a
it's
really
so
interesting
different.
thing to do, to have like an entirely different radio show, or an entirely different program as a different language, and then you wouldn't even know that you were connected to the other person. So
Isn't there like a plot of a movie somewhere? Like
Oh,
I'm pretty
most
sure this is a
certainly.
thing.
yeah, pretty much.
Movie somewhere.
So I like this idea. It has to be done because that's what will save Spider-Man. And
Yeah, it'll save Sony from going bankrupt.
yeah, it will because
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
they'll make. I mean, the Avengers 2 this summer is going to make $1.5 billion. If they made $1 billion last time, they're going to make $1.5 billion.
Yeah.
And then they make $1 billion in the next 2 sequels. They would have made $4.5 billion off of just the Avengers, not let alone the other movies. So.
When do you think they would actually announce when the next Spider-Man would be cast? Like, when do you think the announcement would be official?
Well,
if it is
like
true?
I said, if Avengers Part 1, if Infinity War Part 1 is 2018, they'll be shooting that in 2 years. So that means next year they have to start shooting.
Most certainly.
Most
So this
certainly
year
it'll be
they probably have to
Spider-Man.
start
So
casting.
they have to start casting this year by the end of this year and start
Yeah.
shooting early spring of next year.
I
for
could see it
Spider-
as a Comic-Con thing. If it's done by then,
Oh,
I could
yeah.
see it being announced then.
this Comic-Con, you mean, not
Yeah,
next year?
I could see it being
I have a
announced.
question.
Well,
I have a
if this
question
deal's
about that.
taking like if let's just say
Or maybe that's
you know,
when the deal is like officially announced, and then the cast would be at a different point in time.
Well, I mean, let's say the deal is done and they're going to make the announcement at Comic-Con, which would be that's what they did last year with the Infinity Gauntlet, and that Josh Brolin was playing Thanos, which I think great casting decision, by the way. I've loved all of the casting decisions. Doctor Strange, Benedict Cumberbatch, loved the idea. Who's the Black Panther? Great choice.
The James Spader as Ultron, I'm just in love with it. That guy's awesome.
Yeah, his voice is perfect for the role. Inhumans, I know hardly anybody knows who the Inhumans are.
I
and-
know who they are.
No, I have no idea.
Yes.
Okay.
So what's
not
an
a clue.
Inhuman?
Okay. Before the modern world, when we were just like in our in caveman in the Paleolithic caveman era, the Celestials, which are these giant beings that pretty much started the entire universe, come to Earth, and they start tinkering with humans, and they basically just messed with them, and they created mutations, not natural evolutionary mutations. They actually created mutants, and these are the Inhumans. So. They've lived in out here, like they've lived in seclusion, kind of like the Morlocks, but not in the sewers.
Flesh-eating
Yeah.
Morlocks?
And the Celestials are actually, you see one in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes, that's a celestial head. Yes.
No, and
Was that the
that's
Watcher?
no, it's
Watu is not.
that's Uatu.
Okay,
You
never
see
mind,
the
I
character,
apologize.
like the big ass thing when he like brings the hammer to the planet and it blows up
Yes.
and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
I'm
Celestial
confused.
too.
No. Go back.
Interesting.
Explain where this is at
The
again.
very,
and
when they're talking about when they're at the collector's base and he tells the story of the Infinity Stones,
yeah,
and he talks about how they destroy. He shows there's a clip showing of a giant being that slams something onto the ground and it destroys everything on the planet.
Mhm.
That big being, that's a celestial.
oh, so okay. At first, I thought you were talking about the giant head that they were mining.
That is a
and-
celestial. That was a celestial.
Oh, one and the same. Okay,
Not the
okay.
same one, but they're from the same quote unquote race.
Yeah, but they're the same. Not the same one, but it's the same thing. The
Yeah.
same.
It's
Yeah.
the
creature.
same species,
Yes.
if you will.
And in the
Okay.
comics, for a long time in San Francisco, there is one that's just standing in like in this park, and he's been there for years. They call him the Sleeping Celestial. They don't know what he is, what he does. He's just been there, doesn't move, just stands there. And later on, he takes kind of a more integral part of the X-Men universe. But anyway,
Sounds like he's waiting to get laid to me.
yeah. So
Okay,
what
so-
happens is the Inhumans, they live on Earth for a little bit, then they go to the moon. But the way they get their powers is through a thing called the Terrigen Mist. And if you've watched
That's my
season
favorite mist.
2 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., if you watched the last episode, the most recent episode, the mid-season finale, you have been exposed to the Terrigen Mist and a couple of the first Inhumans. So it's great to see that the TV show is actually introducing the Inhumans, and that's their way, that's Marvel's Cinematic Universe way of having mutants that they can't have mutants, because technically all mutant property is owned by Fox.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm okay with that because
That's why they had to say
what-
miracles at the end of Captain America.
Yeah.
what Fox has done with X-Men and all that, I'm like, at this point in time, I'm completely uninterested in X-Men now. So I'm glad that they're forced
Really?
to become
Even
a little
after the
more
last
creative
one?
with this.
Yeah,
Even-
first
yeah,
class and the last one was
Yeah.
pretty good.
It was better than the Last Stand, but I'm done with the whole X-Men movie things. I would like a reboot of the series, maybe one that is a little bit more better.
Not
I
as
guess-
bubblegummy, maybe.
Yeah, but with as it stands, like I'm done. I'm done with it. I don't care anymore. They come up with another X-Men movie. This was my favorite franchise as a kid. I loved the cartoons growing up, and I'm to just be so done with it as I am now. Like, I don't care anymore. So with the way Marvel's going now with this big universe that they're building, I'm kind of glad that the X-Men are not a part of it, because my apathy would bleed into that, and I don't
Well,
want that to happen.
I will be honest with you. It is good. It's better for them not to have them. I know from a money standpoint they wish they did, because a Wolverine and an Avengers movie would make it even better
Amazing.
for them financially.
That would
But
be really
from a
strange.
story purposes, these characters have thrived a lot more because they're more human and they're more relatable.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
definitely.
Absolutely. Like, just to give the Avengers movie as an example there, like characters that I personally did not even know about growing up. I fell in love with all of them in the Avengers movie.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy as well. It's a great.
Yeah, exact same thing.
Well, and
Guardians
then
of the Galaxy.
to put it like this, then Dark, since you liked these characters that were more relatable than the mutants, you're going to love Phase 3. I'm going to tell you that you're going
Oh,
to
yeah.
love it, because Doctor Strange, he's just a normal guy that gets mystical
I really
powers.
want to see this one, even though I don't know anything about that
Yeah, I'm
character.
curious-
Strange is a
I'm
great
curious to
character.
see how they're gonna write Doctor Strange, because like the language in the comic is really fucking out there.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
Well, and it's
how
more magic. It's
so?
more magic than anything else. But I think more Marvel Cinematic Universe is probably going to be more alien magic than it
Yeah.
will be like Earth magic.
I'm really interested to
Alien
see
magic.
how this all
It's
develops.
XCOM.
Yeah, because yeah, like what you're saying. Like I'm kind of follow. I've always followed the progress of the Marvel field or films with what they're about. Sorry, I've had a little bit of drinking going on tonight,
okay,
so
it's all right.
words are failing me. So I've always followed the Marvel movies to know what was coming up next. That's something I've always done. And now we're getting into territory where I have absolutely no idea who these characters are and what these films are going to be about. And so I'm like, okay, I'm still on board because Marvel's yet to make a really bad movie since they've started doing this whatever this iteration is. After they dumped the whole bad original Hulk movie and whatever
Well, that
those
was
other
a
things
totally
were.
different studio.
Yeah,
That was
Complete-
yeah,
yeah.
that wasn't Marvel Studios. Marvel Studios was Iron Man 1 onward.
yeah. So yeah, from Iron Man 1 onward, I have been on board. They've yet to make a bad movie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And so, but now I'm like, I don't know who any of these characters are. So when the Guardians of the Galaxy came out, I'm like, okay, I don't know anything about this, but the trailer makes it look amazing. I'm on board. Let's go. Let me go watch it and see. I fell in love with it. So
well, and I'm going to tell you I think, and I tweeted this the other day, and I think Aaron and Porter and I had a discussion briefly about this, but I hate to say this, but based on what I'm just tracking these things, I can tell you, I think Ant-Man will do okay in theaters. It won't blow people away. Just
I think
because
it's going to be
seems
like
weird
the
to me.
first
I'm
Thor.
gonna be honest.
Like the first Thor didn't wow anybody. It was good.
it was good.
But
Yeah,
it
and
just
I think
I
wasn't-
wasn't.
It didn't light the
wasn't
world
crazy.
on fire.
I wasn't crazy blown away by the Ant-Man trailer. I mean, because it was a teaser,
yeah.
but it looked like it didn't show any of like him being Ant-Man. He was Ant-Man for the last 3 seconds of the trailer. Shut
Well,
up,
that
nobody.
means you have to go see the
Hey,
movie
yo.
to actually see him being Ant-Man. It's like to encourage you to
But
watch
it
it. If
just,
they
like,
show
looked
all
like
the
a-
epic Ant-Man moments in a trailer, then it kind of defeats the purpose of
See, and that's why
trailer,
I do kind of
But
like
it was
that
like
with Marvel.
it was a
They
2-minute
stopped doing that.
teaser.
What
It
was
like,
that?
what the fuck?
Warburg?
They stopped doing the whole like showing things that are integral to the plot. Like in the first
Yeah.
Avengers, you see Hulk save Iron Man in like the first trailer when he
Yeah.
falls out of the sky, so you know it's going to happen ahead of time. And since then, they
Isn't
haven't
that a
really
Transformers
done it.
thing?
Well, I'll
I
tell
hate
you what.
that shit.
I know what I'm most concerned about with the Ant-Man movie. I have a really hard time of suspending my disbelief when it comes to really strange things. And the whole idea of Ant-Man himself, like, it's going to be really hard for me to swallow that pill and be like, okay, I'm on board with this character.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you were listening before you jumped on, but my theory is just based on the way they cast it in the trailer. Ant-Man will have been a kind of a quote-unquote hero that no one knew about, and that now that all of these heroes are out in the open, and he's older. Hank Pym is older. He brings in Scott Lang, who is Paul Rudd, to take the mantle and to just thrive on the fact that there are heroes out in the open now.
Yeah.
Well,
And
and
that's-
Hank Pym was never like the most heroic of a guy. He got into the whole field to like because he was a scientist. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go crops in Africa and
Yeah.
like stop
Hank Pym-
bandits from
Hank Pym
attacking
was a-
people.
He was kind of always a dick, right?
Yeah.
He was a dick.
Yeah.
And he was an alcoholic wife beater. So yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
It's
he-
like the
he's
epitome
there.
of being a dick.
Hank
I
Pym was
think-
anything but. He wasn't a
Yeah,
villain.
he's
but he
had
was
some
anything but a
really
hero.
shitty
I heard-
writers over the years because
Yeah.
that's not
I
how
heard
the
it-
character started like at all.
Yeah.
I heard a thing where
Silver
the
Age
guy
Hank
who
Pym is
originally
pretty cool.
the guy who originally wrote that story where he hits his wife, he originally didn't write it that way, but the artist kind of drew it in a way where everybody thought Hank Pym slapped his wife or something like that.
Mm.
So he's like, that's never what I intended, but there was such a strong reaction to it that they're like, all right, I guess that's the direction the character's going in. But it was only after they released the comic did people like say that.
Yeah.
Like he never intended that. It was supposed to be like he like pushed his wife aside or something.
Now that
Yeah.
will
So
not. and
one of my questions when it comes to character direction that I'm going to just launch way backward to the conversation is: do you think we're getting Peter Parker? Do you think it's going to be Peter Parker? Do you think it's going to be a different
Miles
version
If
of
it's Miles
Spider-Man?
Morales, I would love it even more because
I
that's
think
I-
even
it's
better,
that'd be
right?
cool,
possible.
actually.
It's possible what they'll do is they'll tie it in with, and this is based on just reading years of these comics. Infinity War 1, that's where you'll have Spider-Man. It may be a Miles Morales that's sucked in from a reality-altering
Or-
gauntlet that Thanos has because he
Yeah.
has all power, and he somehow pulls
I
Miles
think he
Morales.
should just-
into the-
Man,
I
that would
think he should just
I
be the
had whole
Spider-Man
thing
in that
run through
movie.
My head. No, you have
Do you
Peter
think
Parker.
do you think any
you
of
know
the
what
previous
happens in
Spider-Mans
Infinity-
will actually have been established in this movie?
No.
Like any of the events that went on?
No,
in
not at
any of
all.
them?
Oh, dude,
They
that
don't
would
have
be the
to run- they
best
wouldn't-
way.
I'm
would
thinking
be the-
like that Peter Parker. You know what happens in Infinity War, right?
Yes.
Okay. then that leads to Miles Morales spin-off. Now Miles Morales is the new Spider-Man, which would be freaking awesome.
Oh no, yeah, I get what you're saying. I read like the first issue of the Miles Morales comic book, like
Ultimate
about a week
Spider-Man.
ago.
Ultimate
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Ultimate Spider-Man, and it's like in that whole comic, spoilers alert, Peter Parker dies, and then
Yes.
Miles inherits the mantle. I think it would be great if the movie started off like that, where it's like there's a huge battle in New York, and then all of a sudden this huge thing takes out, and it's like the beginning of the comic book almost.
Wait, so I have a
I
question.
don't know. I think it should just be Miles Morales. I think he should be Spider-Man, or
Well,
he should just
well,
he
he-
should,
well,
he
but
should have a
main-
quick origin
but
story.
Here's how they
in
can
that
do
movie.
this.
Mainstream audiences have not had been introduced to him. Like there needs to be a hook to get us to
that's where
like
the hook
him.
is in 2016 or 2017. The hook is Sony does a Spider-Verse type of movie.
Yeah.
They
That'd
have
be
a Peter
interesting.
Parker and a Miles Morales because of something that alters reality. You know, something happens and they get both of them, so you're exposed to both. And then when we zoom to, you know, either Peter Parker dies there, or they have them both in Infinity War and Parker dies. That could
That would
happen.
be so cool.
What was your
It'd be
question,
like
Dart?
emotional. Like that'd be just so emotional, gripping for
Well,
everybody who loves
something-
the character.
For them to have two movies to carry on like that, there has to be something tragic either in the first one or leading into the first one.
Definitely,
There has to be.
definitely.
Like to a major character, one of the major characters, there has to be something like that. It's just like they talked about in the Avengers, that for them to have that motivation, someone had to die. Well, that kind of makes sense. You know, that's how most of these comic books run. So you would think that they would do that. I'm sorry, Dark. Did you have a question?
Yeah, my question was, I missed the very first part of the podcast. I came in a little late because our waiter was a douchebag and did not bring the check on time.
wow.
So I've been trying to piece together what you guys were talking about. Is there actually going to be a new standalone reboot to Spider-Man, or is he just going to appear in one of the next Marvel movies as an established
there
character?
hasn't been any confirmation. There's just been a leaked, like a rumor that Sony and Marvel got the deal done for Spider-Man to be in the first Infinity War.
And now
Okay.
we're basically just theory crafting on how Spider-Man will enter in said
How
Infinity-
like the tie-in, because for the first one is in 2018. Part one is in 2018. So if they're going to reboot if Sony is going to reboot Spider-Man, which they've said on record that they're not going to go forward with Andrew Garfield, that if they're going to do a reboot, they have to do it in the next 2 years.
Okay, so what
Yeah.
I think would be an interesting take on that, instead of doing a reboot, because we've already had two Spider-Man origin stories. If they do get a new Spider-Man character and they're going to use him, I think the best method for them to incorporate him into this universe is to introduce him as an already established character and maybe do some flashbacks to the unique aspects of his own origin story that's different from the first two we've already experienced. Just so, or maybe not even a flashback, just have him explain a couple things to some other character that's asking him questions. Because at this point in time, everybody knows who Spider-Man is. Anyone who's watching one of these movies knows who he is, knows what he's gone through, so he doesn't really need his own origin story.
Yeah.
We already know that story.
Well,
So-
we know the story, but in both of the iterations, it was a slightly different, like how he actually has the powers using the device in the Amazing Spider-Man, or just shooting it out of his hands in the first one. Like you
Exactly.
need a vague brush over of the
Exactly.
story, but you don't need a full out.
yeah, I
that's
mean,
that's
just
what
a
I'm
comment on
talking about. Like,
Well,
we
and
should-
that's why we brought up the Ang Lee Hulk versus the Incredible Hulk, the Marvel Studios Incredible Hulk. Incredible Hulk was a reboot without having to be a reboot, and they did all of the storytelling through flashbacks, and that worked.
yeah, something along those lines. I think would be perfect.
Peter Parker / Spider-Man is a character that everyone knows. You don't
Yes.
have to start over with that. You don't.
Yeah, it's absolutely needless, and you're just going to waste a lot of time. And people are like, okay, we've seen this not only once, but we've already seen this twice in the last 10 years. We don't need a third one. So, like, you know, all we need to do is have Spider-Man show up in his iconic outfit. Everyone's going to be like, oh yeah, that's Spider-Man. How does he fit into all this? And then to have it just kind of explained in the background.
Yeah.
That's all we really need. And I think everyone will be on board with that. And I think that's probably the best way for Marvel to go about this.
I agree.
Yeah, even how Zack Snyder did the Man of Steel, like don't focus on the origin story, focus on his journey almost, and just pepper in a light bit of like this is who he is and this is how he has become who he is.
Well, Superman is the Spider-Man of the DC universe in that he is probably the most recognizable character that kids and everyone,
Definitely.
the general public, can recognize. You
Yeah,
know who
but he's so
Spider-Man
much
is.
more boring than Spider-Man. I just fucking hate. I just fucking hate Superman because he's so.
I
boring.
take umbrage with that.
You like you're a
you
Superman
go
guy.
ahead and take umbrage
I do
and
like
do whatever
Superman.
you want with
the dude
umbrage.
is basically
Harry
Captain.
Potter Umbridge?
I don't care about the
Yeah, Umbridge-
powers. I care about
Umbridge is
the
a bitch,
individual.
isn't she?
He's a lot like Captain. Do you like Captain America?
I also don't like Captain America.
Well,
He's
then there's
also
your problem.
incredibly boring to me
Ed
as well.
Brubaker
You know what
wrote
his
a very
power
good
is? I
Captain
got a
America.
fucking shield.
Yeah, it's all about the
But,
writing.
turned into a mouse.
Like with Superman, he's the guy who gets other people like to do the right thing just because he's there. Like
But that's the thing. Like, what is the right thing? It's completely.
I like how Scott Snyder wrote it recently. He just finished a run on Superman. It's like it's not about knowing the right thing. It's all about trying to do the thing, no matter what happens. Trying to do
Do
it.
that thing.
The
Yeah,
problem
I'll-
is that the cinematic version of Superman, he broke.
I know, I'm
Zod's
not- yeah,
neck.
it's
There's
a-
no right thing anymore.
I know. I'm not defending the movie. I'm defending the character. Totally
Yeah,
separate
the right
thing.
thing's all about perspective.
Okay, the
Looking
only version of Superman I actually kind of enjoyed was the 1990s cartoon.
Well, yeah,
where
that's the
they-
best version of Superman. Like hands
yeah.
down.
He did have
He
like
had limitations. He had like,
Yeah.
a great supporting cast. Like that's the
Yeah,
thing about Superman. His supporting cast is probably pro and villains, probably one of the best in comic books.
But
Well,
I'll
probably
even
have
say
to
then,
agree.
with the Superman cartoon, like Superman was probably my least favorite character out of the whole ensemble going on there because he was just so boring.
But but
think
Warburg
Optimus
is right.
Prime.
He has such a really interesting mix of villains.
He did. Now the villains were interesting. Even Lois Lane in a certain extent. I mean, she was still kind of the damsel in distress, but at the same time, they had the whole '90s first wave of feminism going on. So she was also kind of independent and spunky and had her own little bit of attitude. And then
Gina Delaney,
And-
which is some voice.
yeah, and then the different villains that they had and the roster there. It's like they were all very interesting. They all had some very unique personalities, and I like that. But that's one thing that always kills me with Superman is like I find the world and the other characters so much more engaging than Superman himself.
Well, and that's the problem, and we're going to have the problem with DC versus Marvel in terms of the films, is that when you look at the character base, you can relate to Captain America and Iron Man because at their core, they were just normal human beings at the start, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing I loved about the Iron Man movies. Is like you can tell this guy is flawed. He's messed up. He's got an ego problem, like a drinking problem, all sorts of problems. Like,
Well, and
Yeah.
the thing is that his flaws are kind of like, okay, they're relatable flaws. Batman's flaw is that he's angry that his parents died, but he's a billionaire, so he can go be a superhero. It's like, well, I'm sure so many people would love to do that. Iron Man's the same way, but Iron Man's also a raging alcoholic.
That's also
You
kind
know?
of why I like Oliver Queen as a character.
He's relatable.
I like
That's
that character.
seriously, Oliver Queen is a very good character, and
Which is why Arrow is so awesome.
well, and you said this, and you're right. That's why with DC, it's their big three versus Marvel's big three or whatever. Their big cast of characters. It's the supporting characters that people love about DC, and that's why the movies will not work the way Marvel's worked because they really don't know how to create the main characters and put them on the big screen properly.
Plus the
I
continuity
think
issues.
Wonder Woman could have the best solo success as a from the
Yeah,
hero's
and
perspective.
I'd agree with that.
Time
It's-
Warner and DC fucked that up by saying, "Oh, a Wonder Woman couldn't lead a movie."
Which is
yeah, that's
retarded.
bullshit.
Like,
Absolute bullshit.
just go read the New 52 Wonder Woman. It is hands down one of the best comics I have read or probably ever will read. It's amazing.
Yep.
She is a very interesting character. Okay, so she does have the godlike powers that Superman
Yes.
has, but she has a very unique perspective on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's something that Superman himself does not have. Like, where he's kind of devoid of personality, she's just kind of brimming with stuff. So even though she's kind of godlike, it's like, I want to watch her because she's interesting.
And in the New
who doesn't
52,
like
it's not
Greek
just
mythology?
godlike. She actually is a god, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
She
Who
becomes
doesn't
god
like
of
Greek
war,
mythology?
Or
and
status.
it's pretty cool. The New 52 Wonder Woman is badass.
Interesting.
I agree. I don't even know what it is, but I agree.
So,
I know. Okay, this will be an absolute terrible analogy, but okay. So there for a while in the early 2000s, there was this pirate thing going on, a revolution, a revitalization of the whole ship, movies taking place on ships, and they had some really good, critically acclaimed movies. Like I don't even remember what the fuck they were called. I want to say it's Master and Commander, but that's not correct. No, Pirates of the Caribbean was one of the bad ones, but it made the most. It made the most money.
I wouldn't say
it was
the
not,
first one's bad.
It was fucking awesome, bro.
No. Okay, so it was not critically acclaimed or anything, but everyone loved it and fell in love with it because Captain Jack Sparrow had so much personality. He brought so much charisma to the table. So even though it was not a classic, it wasn't. Yeah, it was classic. It wasn't epic, but it was a hell of a lot of fun, and the characters were so likable. It made up for everything else that kind of fell flat with the movie.
I don't know. I think you're being blinded by that. I think the storyline was pretty freaking awesome too.
Yeah. The spin-off.
Yeah, they turned what was a little game ride into a full out like epic storyline with all these connections that was finished off in the third one and then awkwardly continued.
So get the Pirates of the Caribbean, the first one, is one of my absolute favorite movies. But I'm not one of those guys that is completely blinded by the flaws of his favorite movies. There's a lot of stuff that it does not work in Pirates of the Caribbean. It's not a perfect movie. It's got a lot of problems.
I could say the same of a good 95% of the movies I watch.
Yes, a lot of them have lots of problems, and Pirates of the Caribbean is one of them. It's why it was not critically acclaimed, but it is still one of my favorites because I fucking love Captain Jack Sparrow. He's a hell of a lot of fun to watch. Well, as long as he has like a straight man to back him up, which is Orlando Bloom's job.
A straight man.
He didn't do so well in his own movie.
That's how the writing makes a big deal. Like in Captain America, in Winter Soldier, he was the straight man, and then it's all about what happens around him that makes the story interesting. And that's all from the writing perspective, which is why nobody's written Superman in the movie universe correctly.
I have a question. When you mean straight man, do you mean morally or like sexually?
No, he means delivery.
Okay.
You need someone who's like look.
Oh my God. I suppose that's one way to change the topic.
Yeah.
Oh, we're talking about anal now? Yeah, never tried it.
I guess so.
Dude, they've been talking about anal in the Twitch chat for like the last 20 minutes.
Dude, I closed the Twitch chat, man.
Something about Lucas
all about that.
Don't go there. I don't want to hear this tomorrow in LBF land. I don't want to.
No, see, Lucas was drunk.
I just want to say one thing to Lucas real quick, if you guys don't mind. Do it.
What is up with you in that GIF all of a sudden? Jesus Christ.
Lucas, pay attention.
Just do it.
Back to what Warburg was saying. The problem is that in TV and film, no one has written a very good Superman.
Yeah, the comics have had some great stories.
All-American Superman, like the Frank Whiteley's run. I forget his name.
Grant Morrison's All-Star is great. Yes, there's the one where he is talking to the girl, trying to talk her out of committing suicide. That's a great story. Not the best written in terms of the dialogue, but the message is pretty fucking awesome. And if they could take that scene and put it in a movie, it'd be an awesome movie just on that scene alone. Because at that point,
he's not using his powers to save somebody. He's using him as a person.
His presence just is it's all because he's there. It's important, and so she's important, and all that. And then
the problem they're going to have is that they're going to do their best to shoehorn characters into the next Batman Superman movie, Dawn of Justice, to fast track. It's
already happening in their animated movies too, and it really pisses me off. Because animated movies were unbeatable. Even honestly, I think some of them are better than in a couple of the Marvel.
No, I will admit DC's animated movies were very good. Even the Green Lantern movies were very good.
Dude, well, I had Nathan Fillion as the voice, so you can't beat that.
Exactly.
But
I wouldn't know.
They brought Nathan Fillion back for the new one too, with the Throne of Atlantis, which is actually a really good story. And Aquaman and New 52 is pretty badass. But the recent DC animated movies have taken a severe downturn in quality.
Oh no!
Yeah, I think they're just awful.
I've never liked Aquaman as a character. He never made sense to me.
I really want to watch. I want to watch
Aquaman,
Throne of Atlantis. I really want to watch now because it looks.
Of course, dude, because Aquaman's the best. Fucking fish, bro.
And of course, he was one of the most badass.
Fish.
The cartoon. Okay. I love that cartoon.
Just blew up my own audio.
Yeah, you're like the reverse Space Corps, only with fish instead of space. It's to be like space, you're like fish.
I was actually copying Achievement Hunter. You would know that if you watched Achievement Hunter.
I don't watch that shit.
Some of us don't watch that crap. Sorry.
Well, hold on. It's not. Some of it's pretty good. Don't Don't be all
fucking great, bro.
hipster.
It's a bit redundant, man. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I mean, yeah. I can see where you're
That's why
coming
you
from.
live
When
in Houston, because you're such a hip. Okay, Austin's the Houston. The hipster.
Yeah, nice try there.
I just said Austin was Houston. Oh my god,
Yeah,
I
you're
can't talk.
retarded.
Yeah,
Hey,
you know
don't
what?
worries.
Go home, Nobod. You're drunk.
Yeah.
I am home, bro.
Go to your bedroom then. You're drunk.
So, okay,
I sleep here, bro.
back to what we were saying. Let's all come full circle. Sony and this whole thing with
Back
Marvel.
up in a circle.
Okay.
Oh, speaking of Sony,
We're having a circle jerk now.
Yes.
Apparently.
so one of the leaks like that I was going to talk about, well, the other thing with the Sony, you didn't talk
Uh-huh.
about what I was going to talk about, what I mentioned
for it.
earlier. One of the things that leaked
There are a lot of leaks from
is
Sony.
a possible like crossover between 21 Jump Street and Men in Black.
Yes.
Really?
And they
What?
said no.
Ow.
They said no straight up, like right after the hack. But now they're
Good.
like, well, people seem to like the idea, so
The
maybe.
hack wasn't real though.
Because they're all stoned.
No, this is from the emails one. Like it
Oh
was like,
fuck, I'm stuck.
yeah,
Again, North Korea fucking with us again.
yeah. This is
No.
from like,
You know what's going to be great?
this
Let's
is
take
from their
two of
leaked
beloved
emails, and they were like,
franchises.
yeah, people like the idea, so we might actually do it now. Like,
This is how North Korea
you're
gets
fucking
their
right.
revenge.
That would be amazing.
Xbox record that.
Are you playing Xbox right now, you scumlord?
Yeah, I just got stuck in Destiny. I'm stuck in a fucking hole. I can't move.
You're
Nice.
still playing Destiny? Wow.
Destiny's
You're
pretty
terrible.
good.
Yes, it
Oh,
was
actually, Destiny's fun.
fated.
Better
I
than
just got
Master
it
Chief
again, dude.
Collection.
Yeah,
the
okay,
new-
well,
I'm just
Dark
playing.
Knight
I'm just
out,
over here
it's
playing
fucking
Dragon
insane.
Age and loving
Oh,
it.
dude, I'm playing Dragon Age Online.
I'm just
That
sitting
shit's
here,
awesome, bro.
like, actually paying attention to the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
not
I-
playing Dragon Age. I'm actually.
I can't do
So-
that, dude. I'd be talking way too much and saying like and using all these comments because I don't even know
It's a
what
good
the
thing
fuck's
you're on the
happening.
podcast.
Okay,
man.
so yeah, taking up a spot.
So I had this interesting
You're
conversation
fucking
with my cousin earlier today about Destiny and the fact that I in a way I think that Bungie is kind of brilliant in the fact that so you have people that play first person shooters and they're completely different than the people that play World of Warcraft. But with Destiny, they've kind of taken that first person shooter, those first person shooter people, and have made them play something that is kind of like the first person shooter equivalent of World of
You
Warcraft.
can
now.
I
you
thought
can,
that
sit
you
there-
can thank Activision Blizzard for that.
I thought that was literally Borderlands.
well, it's
It's not.
But
It's not.
Borderlands
Borderlands
have
is multiplayer fashion than
Yes.
that. It's like a really
Yeah.
good co-op.
It's a really good
versus
co-op
the
campaign.
Whereas
Destiny was actually
Destiny
trying
But
is
it
to
kinda
has
build
the
like
RPG elements.
MMO.
Destiny's just
I
kind of
mean-
a grind fest.
Yes.
I
Very
love
much so.
even to this
Okay.
day, even though I
But not
sold
as
it
much
for
as Dark
Advanced
Souls.
Warfare, I still love Destiny, and then I immediately sold Advanced Warfare because that game is a garbage fest. But let's not get into that. I mean, Destiny, it was a little weak on the story, and
A
I
little?
don't-
Weak.
It was
That's,
testing out being an
that's a
MMO,
light
like
to
testing
use.
out the universe. It
yeah,
seems
it's
like.
just testing the waters.
But
It's
it
doing
was
something a
full
little new.
title release at $60.
Yeah,
Like
I
that's an
It's
issue
still a
for
bit-
me.
That was the big, huge problem with just the last
It
year
was-
in general. So many releases of different games way before they were even finished. Full releases like there's Sonic Boom Disaster and a lot of
Another
other
Sonic
things.
disaster.
Yes, but
Like,
we
Get another
have
one.
we have
Sonic
no one,
06,
we
baby.
have no
It was
one
the best
to
game
blame
ever,
but
yo.
the game, but consumers themselves.
Exactly.
Yes, I know.
We
No,
buy
it's
these
bullshit.
alpha stages. We buy these games in alpha stage that
No,
have-
you don't say we because I don't. It's
don't.
not we.
I
I'm going to
actually
point my
don't.
finger at
I-
anybody that is doing that. Like,
I'd
fucking
rather-
stop it.
I'd rather people release games to test things rather than have like the Assassin's Creed and just kind of toss that out and then have oh, it's this big game and everyone do it. If you release a game, release a full version or release an alpha. Don't release an incomplete full version because
Yeah.
beta testing is really important. That way you can stress test your servers, see what's wrong, and if you actually take the feedback from these beta tests and alpha tests and make the full version better, that's when it's a really good
Which is
idea.
why I like
If you
that
just
the
have a
Halo
never-ending
beta's out
beta
right
and don't do anything with it, then it's
Yeah,
no
that's
point.
bullshit.
It's just an excuse to release the game earlier and call it beta to not finish it.
yeah, it's this
It
pre-order
is- yeah.
pay for the game mentality / culture that we as a not we as in people on this call, but we as the consumer or
No,
the
it's
royal
literally
we
just us.
have done.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
We
Well,
dictate
it
the
was
just
economies of the
a-
world.
what okay, 2 years ago, during the whole Arma / Daisy height, a game came out on Steam. I don't even remember the name of it. It wasn't Rust. It was another zombie game where it was released and people were pissed. Steam pulled the game and
Oh yeah, that
publishers got in trouble
but it
because
was
they
unplayable.
It was unplayable day one. I don't even remember the name of the game now. Someone help me.
But weren't they charging like $30 for it, and it was unplayable?
I don't know.
Yeah, and it wasn't in alpha stage. Like DayZ, I bought the alpha stage version because I know that I'm taking part of an alpha stage to where there's
when it's
issues. I'm
labeled
helping
like
resolve that. This was a game that people were paying $30, I think $30 for, that was supposed to be completed. And you know, that's
the difference.
Yeah,
that's the big difference there. Like with Minecraft, when I first purchased it, I bought it for $7 in alpha. And they blatantly
then they went from beta, and then they
such.
made an excellent full game, and now they're porting it and trying to update the Xbox to where the PC's at.
But you have to be the publisher has to be honest. Like, look, this is an alpha game, and we're going to charge you a reduced price for it because it's alpha. We're not going to charge you $20. We're not going to charge you $30. $7 for an alpha stage.
Well,
that's
and then,
fine.
The online version, the online portion of the Master Chief Collection shouldn't have even been an alpha stage. It was so bad.
Yeah, with what you've told me about it, I'm shocked that 313 Studios actually put out something.
Again,
here's 343. Sorry, not 313.
Yeah, 343. I'm still really glad the Halo 5 beta is like out like 10 months ahead of release. That's pretty awesome.
See,
if they take that Halo beta and make a good Halo 5, like make any problems that you find in Halo 5 beta, if they actually fix it, that'll be an awesome Halo 5.
And they've been putting out like updates to it, like changing kind of things as they go week to week. I'm like, oh, the pistol needs to, let's try the pistol like nerfed a little bit, let's boost it, you know, they'll do different things to it. And if they've changed it up time to time. And yeah, it's not perfect, but it is a beta.
And I'm going to add my 2 cents into this when it comes to the whole MCC issue. Here's my theory. They were working on it, busting ass, getting shit done, okay? And then Microsoft's like, you're done now. You got to work on Halo Guardians, or whatever decision was made in a table, conference room, Jesus table,
Jesus table?
Between the two entities, 343 and Microsoft, because
I
Microsoft
fucking need on that.
Microsoft
I've counted your tab. You've given about 12 cents already, so.
Yeah, but so basically there was obviously some rushing when it comes to Microsoft pushing 343.
Dude, the Russians had nothing to do with this.
God, I hate you so fucking much.
It's so easy to blame the Russians. Don't blame them for everything. God damn it.
Like it's a great game because it's 4 games, there's a whole bunch of cross versions of servers and playlists, and Mr. Wartburg mentioned that it's a pretty ambitious game on console, and I feel like it was their reach outpaced their grasp when it comes to the whole situation. It also involves the fact that there are outside pressures from the studio of Microsoft.
Yeah, I always got the feeling that Halo 2 was like what they really wanted to remake, and that was kind of it. And then about a year before it launched, they're like, "Oh yeah, it's going to be all of them, by the way, not just Halo 2." And
I'm inclined to agree with you. Yeah,
really
I think so too.
Yeah, that being added, if that is the case, is probably what pushed it over the edge.
Well, and if you remember, up until E3, everyone thought it was just going to be a Halo 2 HD.
Yeah,
because that's all that anyone ever wanted, actually.
Yeah, that's all we ever wanted. And then all of a sudden at E3, we're like, holy shit, the entire collection remastered? All right, we'll take it, right? But, I mean, all we were expecting was, I want my Halo fucking 2. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, because Halo 1 and Halo 2 were virtually unplayable on a next-gen console because, god damn it, they were fugly in high definition. Yeah. So getting the first game remastered was just absolutely amazing. Like, okay, I'm down with this. All right, so give us the Halo 2 because it's not playable on next-gen, and we'll be good. We'll call it good. And that's all we really wanted from it. But yeah, once they're like, oh yeah, we're going to give you everything remastered in high definition, we're like,
it did sound like
last year was a good year to have this collective level of fuck up because it's going to, I think.
And still,
hopefully the game makers will learn their
still
lessons.
very early within the development life cycle. I mean, we had a lot of problems on the 360 when it launched. A lot of
that is extremely true. I was about to mention.
No, I'm talking like we as like the culture. There were a lot of problems with the 360 launch, the PS3 launch as well. Like the backwards compatibility was really a thing they promised, but it didn't really function all the time on the PS3. And
but because we fucked up as the Form Thread podcast, no one gets backwards compatibility.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
It's our fault.
We traveled back in time and we fucked with the time stream. It was a thing. Sorry. Our bad.
We crossed streams.
Why do you think,
we knew better,
why do
but
you
we
think
did it
Cajun
anyway.
likes Doctor Who so much?
Exactly.
I think this year, though, going
Yeah.
forward, these major publishers have learned their lesson. Let's
I
hope.
so. Well, yeah,
I
I mean,
hope
you
so.
know, and 343,
wanna
I will give them a bit of a break because they're like, oh, hey, by the way, we screwed up, so here's a free game. Just take it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that is a saving grace for them. But I don't believe that EA or Ubisoft has learned their lesson because they
Honestly,
continue
EA this
to
year-
fuck shit up.
Trying to think about EA, they didn't have a bad year, like at all. Like
what about
all
Sims
the,
4?
Sims 4 was
that's
bad.
like
Yeah.
wasn't that 13?
Sims 4 was my favorite Sims.
And SimCity was this year, wasn't it? Or last year?
No, SimCity was last year.
Yeah, SimCity was last year.
4
Sims
was
Well, Sims
20 was
4
this year.
wouldn't be like I'm talking like main console stuff here. Like
Okay.
Still
on the
can't figure out
console.
what's bad about Sims 4.
Sims 4 because they released a castrated version of The
Yes.
Sims that had no features whatsoever. They're like, hey, we're redoing
okay.
everything.
But we're taking
like-
everything that you liked
like-
about it away.
If
Yeah.
anyone played WWE 2K15, I guess it's basically
No,
the
no,
same
that-
thing.
no,
It's the
the
same
prob-
thing.
the
Yes,
problem with that
2K13 was
sentence
great.
is-
Yes, yes.
Yeah, the problem with that sentence is playing WW anything. Okay. That's
I
the
like
problem with
WWE
that sentence.
games, dude.
Different
I love
strokes
WWE.
for different folks.
I'm gonna
Dark.
tell you,
Come on.
man. I'm the old man here. The original Monday Night Raw
Different
on the Sony
canoes for different
PlayStation was the
fools.
bomb.
Oh my
How
god.
about that backyard wrestling that had ICP on the cover? And that was pretty great.
No.
Uh,
The game was pretty awful, not gonna lie.
I'm
Yeah.
embarrassed to be in the same podcast as you two right now.
I'm
to be
sure
honest.
he was using sarcasm in
Dude,
that instance.
Guess what? I used to watch wrestling, and I can talk to it too. So you're ashamed of three of us.
all
So what?
three of you.
Yo,
And-
Randy Orton is the shit.
He shit in a
Someone
bag
hang
once.
up on
It was funny.
Nobod, please, right now.
Was it Diamond Dallas Page? I remember that name.
The Diamond Cutter.
Yes, the Diamond.
Yeah.
Oh, God. It was
Yep.
the same finishing move.
Yeah,
Eight
So, Mr.
people
Fusion,
had that
how's
finishing
it
move.
feel to have someone like Nobod like on the same team as you? Does it
It
feel
feels
good?
dirty, man.
I mean, I think
In a
you
good
guys
way.
seem to have a lot of aggression. I think you should take it out and fight one another. Oh wait, you did in TFT Smash. Did anybody see that?
Oh,
yeah.
God.
What
Yeah,
is
Guess
that?
who won
What a
that?
segue.
I'm gonna clap. That was really good.
That was
Yeah,
a beautiful.
congratulations, Patrick. You won. You're the better man in TFT Smash.
Nobody
Spoiler
spoiled.
alert.
No,
I have
was,
not
that
watched
was
it. I
proof
just
that
got
you know
back
what?
from
the
work.
better man
I'm
doesn't
sorry.
always win.
Well, that's why I really won.
Oh, I know. I'm pretty
Next
great.
round.
But
Yes, you
I
didn't
wouldn't consider
win.
me the better
Ridley
man.
won that round. Ridley.
Yeah, I like
That's
how
funny.
my character in the he died right off the bat.
That
in
was
the
hilarious.
first one. But in the
We can talk about
rematch,
it now.
Like Dark.
in the
what-
rematch of all the losers, my character had the game. He like it was
He did
like
the
He's like, you
second
know what?
best.
I could win.
And-
I'm just gonna.
and then he just like, fuck this shit, I'm jumping down this hole. And that's all he like at zero damage. Wasn't it zero or close to zero damage? He just jumped right down the fucking hole all by himself. Like, what?
was Bob's behavior?
I'm very curious to if we had the same cast actually playing in person, not necessarily online, but or online, how that would have turned out differently.
I feel like I would
very
win.
interesting.
I can confidently say.
RTX is coming up, so
Well, for
Oh,
TFT Smash Tournament 2, whenever that happens
Bring it.
next year,
But
completely
Ooh.
different voiceover cast. So everybody didn't get the voiceover.
I am
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, I didn't get to
on
voice
that.
over at all. So I would like to be part of the
wait,
next
do I
one.
get? I can
Absolutely.
bust out my
Yeah,
comments
I'll do it.
voice. Yeah.
Oh, I got it. TFT Smash, the tag team championship.
That would be a good one.
oh,
Pick
me
your
and Zach.
teams.
Me and Zach.
Yee.
That's just an idea.
Team OP.
Like that, it was like you were trying for a yeah, but then you realized it was a robot and it didn't come out. You're like, yeah.
Oh.
I know
Yeah, you
for
don't have my
sure.
gusto, bro.
That's just my
Don't
hype
try to
voice.
be
I know for sure I'm gonna put Low Zelda and Webwave on a team.
Oh,
That-
aw.
That's
That'll
called
go
Team
over.
Implosion.
That'll
Yeah,
go
and then
over.
she will kill you. She'll like
Oh.
she'll mail a letter bomb to you and she'll kill you.
mail a dead bird.
I got me and Lucas got this shit.
She'll
Yeah.
put a
What?
dead cat in your mailbox.
That or we could have like if we do
Oh.
like triple team stuff,
Warp-
it'd be me,
Wartburg.
Dark, and TJ.
I want Drunk Ray.
Wartburg,
That's what
I was
Hey.
gonna ask you to be my teammate.
Well, okay.
I want
you
Drunk
were my
Ray
second
on my
choice, no doubt.
Okay.
No
jeez.
doubt.
Team,
Drunk
team
Ray,
Fat.
Drunk Ray would be
I literally
hilarious.
just said like, yeah, team fat. But
I will honestly
if we
be on a
get
team
dark,
by
then we could be the
myself
three
if I-
times, and we just be like,
Not gonna lie.
what up? Bring it, bitches.
Oh, that's
All we
right.
need is a Wii U and a capture card, and we could do that at RTX. And
I
we could
have
have
an
players
I have
not
an
save
Elgato
it.
Game Capture HD. If that'll work on a
Same
Wii,
here.
I don't think it
Yeah,
will.
it'll
Yeah, it will.
probably work.
It does.
yeah.
And it
See,
works
we
with-
can't
and
do
it
the
also
whole
works-
thing during the actual panel if we had a panel. It would
Oh.
have to be a championship match. So we would have a series of shows leading up until the final.
Oh yeah, and then me and Zach will face Lucas and
Oh, With that, yeah, I could bring my mixer. We
The
could get some really
championship,
good
okay.
quality audio out of it. Yeah.
Tari, suggested a
I
battle
would
of
be
the
really excited to
sexes.
attempt to
Yeah,
do
Battle
she
of the
like
sexes?
Tari wants a girls team. I would like this to happen if
Battle
only we
of the
had more
sexes.
females on the podcast.
That's
Well,
right.
we have Ray, we have Lozelda.
We said females.
Yumi,
Captain
27.
Birdman.
He's not a female anymore.
Captain
Yeah,
Birdman.
well, no.
Yeah,
see,
that's right.
we're specifically saying the people that are going to be at RTX are all the people that you mentioned coming.
Whoa, Captain Birdman's going to be at RTX?
Yeah, I need to find a way to
I
get
doubt
there
that.
though. I guess this
Oh.
year it's gonna be a little
I
more.
would
difficult.
love to meet Captain Birdman. She's kind of awesome, you know?
Yeah, I
It's a
love
shame
her in the podcast.
I know I've had this
Podcast.
realization before, but that's a she.
Yes.
No.
Honestly,
What's
it
gonna
sounds
be
like
even more
realization
it
confusing?
sounds like
guys,
guys, she's awesome, so she doesn't kill you.
What's going to be even more confusing is
I'm not afraid.
That's
Podcast
exactly
90,
shit.
which is going to be released within the next day. But I haven't decided which day I'm going to put it out. Has another Birdman, which is actually a male.
Yeah.
So
Like Michael Keaton
What?
Birdman.
No,
Okay.
I must not have been present for that one because I don't
You were
remember
not.
a Birdman. Okay.
I like presents, not surprise presents though, like rape.
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
Those are
the
the worst
fuck?
surprise. Those were the worst.
Quit trying to make
Yeah.
it a thing. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah. No.
I don't-
Also, unless
I don't
you
know
were present for the on the spot disaster, you won't even have any context for that.
Oh, now you're bringing up the on the spot thing. Come on, don't go there.
Not gonna lie, I am glad I was able to watch it live, just because, it
Yeah.
was it was interesting. I will leave it
It
at
was.
that.
I liked it. I liked it. That's my opinion.
I knew it was
I'm-
going down
I'm
the drain
leaving
in like
it
the
alone.
first 3 minutes. I was like, "Good
I
lord,
made
this
it
is
a
awful."
thing.
I really felt bad for John. I was like, "Jesus Christ, this is so bad. Who gave them the okay to put these guys on the same fucking show?"
Hey, Mr. Fusion, I made it a thing.
Anyway, moving on.
No,
We're
bud, you will
at-
never make fetch a thing.
We are
just
over.
Stop it.
Are we just
Make
an hour?
what?
We're at an hour 5.
I mean, do we have to end at
No.
an
We
hour?
go to an hour
I
and
don't know.
11 minutes. We're cool like
what
that.
do you guys want to do? Like the last two we did, last two I was on, were like an
How
hour
about
and a
we
half.
how about we just keep going until we run out of steam?
You guys want to play Destiny?
Okay, works for me. I'm eating.
Okay,
I
well,
just
let me-
got
let me-
Steam.
You know what? Because I always put him on the spot because when we're not live, he talks up a storm, and then when we're live, he says 2 words. Why do you
This
like
is
Destiny
true.
so much, Nobod? Why do you
I like Destiny so much because I can fucking kill things and they don't kill me.
That was such
like-
a bro comment.
No, it's total badassery is what I'm getting at. Everything's
Okay.
just badass. You fucking slaying these fucking Colossuses. I just gunned that motherfucker down with the legendary weapon I got for free because I couldn't get one on my own because I'm level 20 because I suck.
Okay, why do you like it as opposed to say like Advanced Warfare?
Same thing.
Is it the
No.
MMO quality of it?
Yeah, I guess. Like the storyline. The storyline was pretty great.
See, that's where Destiny.
The weapons and the shooter thing is a lot different. The exo movement is so much different. It's a lot faster and it's a lot twitchier. This game's a lot less twitchy than Advanced Warfare is.
That's why I like Destiny because out of the box, it's done. There are no problems with it. Let's play.
Yep.
You know,
Advanced
there-
Warfare, the complete opposite. They are nerfing and fucking buffing weapons left and right. I
That
cannot
one
use
wasn't
the ball
complete
anymore.
either.
It
Advanced
was,
Warfare
but then it
is-
wasn't. They
They were
figured out
people
that
were
all the
complaining too
guns
much about the
suck.
weapons. Like some weapons were just more devastating than others in multi.
Okay, it
multiplayer.
was complete. It was just not properly
And if
balanced.
Yeah, it
you're using
wasn't-
exosuits, the hit detection is awful.
Oh, so bad. That
The differences in ping will completely make or break a match.
they will fuck you. They will totally just straight up mess
See,
you up.
and playing in the Crucible, I haven't had those issues. I've noticed that.
Yeah. The Crucible
I
is actually
headshot
fun.
motherfuckers.
When I
in Crucible, bro.
when I played Master Chief early on, when I got it day one. When I was able to get into a match, I found that very frustrating. Where it was very consistent on contact. Like if you're meleeing, you can hit a guy and nothing would happen to him. It was a nightmare. And then they would disappear off of the screen and then end up around the corner, and they'd have enough time to kill you. You know.
Yeah, that was just a Call of Duty thing, though.
Well, I'm talking about Master Chief.
I mean, that's a Call. I mean, we were talking about Call of Duty before.
Yeah.
I'm saying that's a Call of Duty thing usually.
Yeah.
That's a Call of Duty thing, though.
Yeah.
Usually
can't fucking
that's
melee
not.
people.
Halo games aren't known for lag spikes like that.
Yeah,
And we all
Advanced
know now
Warfare
that-
is actually much like Halo 3 Melee, where you just melee and that motherfucker is getting hit, whether they're beside you, fucking whatever. It hits. Like it'll lunge and hit everything. meleeing in Advanced Warfare is pretty easy, just like it was.
Has anyone here other than me and Wartburg played the beta for Halo 5?
I've played a few rounds of it.
I absolutely love Halo 5, or the beta so far right now.
Once you're in and you can consistently get matches, which has been the really big problem for me in the beta.
But it's a beta.
It is a beta, and it's just totally acceptable. I mean, of course they're going to have matchmaking server problems. It's a beta on servers that are getting hacked left and right all the time.
Exactly.
So
yeah,
it's going to have problems.
I just don't understand the appeal of just playing multiplayer. Like, it does nothing for me.
I'm good.
I only play Halo for the campaign, honestly.
I really do.
I played Halo multiplayer, but that's like how I found everyone here, especially Zach. Just playing a bunch of Halo, just hanging out with friends. It wasn't more playing it just to play it. I could have much fun doing that.
Yeah, if I have a group of people to play with, I will totally play online multiplayer.
Games?
Well, and that's probably
like,
where Halo made its bread and butter. It's the multiplayer, but it's from a social standpoint. Like if you have groups of people,
games that are fun.
It's a
like
modern
Dark Hunt.
game with a LAN mentality.
Yes.
Yeah, like,
and it will always have that LAN mentality.
Yeah, I will never just hop on multiplayer Halo 3 by myself and play. I'm like, I don't give two shits if who wins or who loses. But if I'm playing with a group of people that I know and we're all on the same team, I'm like, okay, now we're playing a team game, and this is a lot of fun because I know everybody
Halo,
here.
like a big team battle with Halo.
I would totally do that if I know everyone on my team. I would do that because it's a lot of fun. Because then I'm playing with someone. But if it's just me by myself against a bunch of strangers, I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
You don't have You don't have an Xbox One, right, Dark?
No, I don't
Not
have
yet.
one.
Not
Are you
yet.
thinking about buying one?
I had remember
dope.
months ago when I was talking about how I was going to get a Wii U and that was going to be my first next gen console.
Sure.
Well, I have the
Hardly
Wii U. That is my next gen console. So now in the
next gen, I don't consider it next gen.
It is.
They're on par with 360.
It's more powerful than the 360. Then
despite
how much you like to argue,
it doesn't matter the level of product. It means it's part of that line.
Yeah. So this
generation,
it is a
it's
next
what's
gen
being
console.
it's what's being currently produced for.
Exactly.
There's not another upgrade you can get.
Yes.
For
And
that,
it does
type of
produce
game.
full 1080p graphics, which the Xbox is not. The Xbox One does not do. So it does have that.
Yeah,
going
actually,
for
it does.
It can.
But
It comes.
it's
with,
all
it
about
comes-
it's all
it's
about
certain
development.
games.
It's pretty hard to
it's
develop
about the
for.
game. It's like
Several games have
It has
got
nothing to do with
1080p.
Xbox, dude.
But
It's all
that's
about
one
the
good
games.
thing about the Wii U is that because Nintendo built the console and it basically makes all the games, it can control the environment in which how high the quality is for the game. So I definitely see where Dark is coming from when it comes to like every single game's 1080p.
Yeah.
Except comparatively
it also
to
does
the
have
Yeah,
Xbox.
if you have a
another-
fucking bad TV, you're fucked.
It also has
Like-
another year of development.
Yeah.
And it's the Nintendo. They take way longer to develop their consoles than anybody else on the
Yeah, but
marketplace.
they've also their old style of doing things where they were very strict about their licensing. It's actually starting to put a stranglehold on them now.
it's biting them in the ass.
Oh, yeah.
There's been a lot of
right now.
things
They have no
that's
third
been biting them
party
because
support.
of how
well,
closed off they
that
are.
mentality helped save the video game industry in the late 80s. Okay, now not so much because developers and publishers are a different breed. They're a multi-million-dollar company now. They're not small companies and developers. These are big. These are backed by big companies that they want to push out a big. They're the modern day television show. That's what video games are. Modern day. That's what they are. So they have the financial backing. So a publisher's ready to go, and here's Nintendo saying we have restrictions. We have so many restrictions, and okay, well we're going to go to the PlayStation. We're going to go to the Xbox. And
as long as they don't belly up and decide to go the way Sega went and be like, okay, we're only going to produce content now for everything else, I'm perfectly okay with that.
I don't think Nintendo has enough of their own, like enough rights to property to IPs to do that.
I don't know what they're
think
going to
so.
do. As long as they keep on putting out the quality of even if it's just first party games, the quality that they've been putting out, I'm perfectly okay with that.
Yo, they can just
I've
make
got
3 Smash games a year.
Yeah, I've got Super Smash Brothers for the Wii U.
And 2 Zeldas, three
I've got Mario
Smashes, 2
Kart 8.
Zeldas, and a Mario Kart.
And the new Super Mario Brothers Wii U, and then whenever they come out with whatever the new 3D Mario is going to be, and the new Zelda game, it's like I'm going to buy those for my console. I am.
When
totally
am I getting
gonna buy
Luigi's
those.
Mansion 2?
All I want is a modern Kid Icarus. Is it too much to ask?
Yeah, even a kid. Yeah, whatever
Oh my
they put
God.
out, it's like
I
Yes,
got
it's-
Kid Icarus on Xbox,
It's on
bro.
3DS.
I'm talking about on the Wii U.
I have the old Kid
No,
Icarus on
yeah,
my Xbox.
I am glad with Super Smash Bros. Brings to light a lot of characters that some people never even heard of, and then
Like
those
Palutena.
games get more interested into them.
Wait, isn't Kid Icarus Sony?
Dude, I
No.
can't wait to play Xenogears or Xenoblade.
Wasn't on the Sony console though? The Sega? No, it's Sega. I meant Sega. The Sega.
No,
console.
I don't think so. I thought it was always Nintendo.
Because now that I think about it, it is indeed in the Sonic's eulogy thing.
Wait, which
Eulogy?
which
The
character are you
Sonic's-
asking about?
The Kid Icarus. Hold on, I'm gonna disappear for 5 seconds. I gotta go find the game. Oh no, it's upstairs. I don't want to go upstairs.
Quick, hang up on him.
I'm-
Hang up on him.
What are you talking
No.
about?
Sorry.
No,
Okay, so
I
okay,
would-
Dark. So you're thinking about going next gen other than the Wii U. Are you leaning towards
Yeah,
Xbox or PlayStation?
I'm gonna go with Xbox. That's gonna be my next gen system, just because I'm invested in the Microsoft economy now. I have my gamer tag with my gamer score. I've got my friends.
You have a crazy gamer score compared to me.
And
So
you're-
yeah, it's kind of
you
like
don't
I don't
compare
want
to
to
me.
lose all of that just
Yeah.
because I've paid for the subscription for what is it, 8 years now, 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
And so even though I'm not actively, interacting with everybody on the Xbox, just because I have that accumulation of all those gamer score points, I don't want to just up and lose them because it
Also,
is.
you need to
Go
do
ahead.
Let's Plays with us.
Well, and if you ever wanted to, like Zach was like, hey, let's go play Halo, you could be like, I have an Xbox, let's go play Halo. You don't have to be like, oh, I still don't have that.
Wub Wave.
Well, one of the things with the Xbox coming out this year, because of the Halo 5, they're actually going to be putting out a new processor version of the Xbox One for the Halo launch. So that'll be pretty cool.
So you think they're going to do a revamp of the Xbox One already?
Yeah, because it's pretty much proven that it was stupid of them to go with DDR3 RAM. That was really,
Yeah.
really stupid.
Yeah.
The only
Yeah, but
saving grace
they
they
had
can
an add-on
use.
already in the Xbox that
Yeah.
matches whatever PlayStation had, whatever
That
was
hasn't been
recommended.
standardized. Like, this is a major launch with a big title. That's going to be the
Yeah.
Halo launch because it's fucking Halo. So that'll be the title that they launch it wide on, and then the only thing they could do because of the stupid RAM choice to not break the previous games that are already out
they did
is
it
to change
fine.
the processor for all of them. Because if you change RAM and what it uses for RAM, nothing's going to
No,
run that's been out.
Lucas just said in the chat, "Am I the only one who wants Mass Effect remastered?" No, everyone on this podcast wants a remaster.
And that and Gears of War.
Yeah,
Gears
give
of
me
War.
Mass Effect
Also, the
remastered.
new
Give
Mass
it to me.
Effect will
That would
be
be
coming.
awesome.
So I mean,
I'm not a
I'd
big
rather
Gears
they work
fan.
on the next Mass
But
Effect.
the first Gears was awesome. The second two I was
Yeah.
not a great fan
Gears
of.
1 is still playable though. It doesn't need to be.
I just had this argument with Wubwave in the chat. Is the problem I had with Gears of War at the time. It looked good, yes, but all the characters were like cardboard cutouts of other action movie stars, and their backstories were all cardboard cutouts of other action movie stars'
It
backstories.
became kind of a bro feeling.
So I'm like, and they're all like these big
That is your
beefcakes, and
phrase of the
they're all
night.
overly hyper masculine without showing any feeling. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck about these big beefcake guys. I
don't
just
know.
don't care.
I think
don't care.
I think Marcus and Dom had a really good relationship.
Romance.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like their
I think
romance.
Yeah,
the litmus-
Dom was pretty emotional.
the litmus
towards,
test for
Gears of War
characters
3,
is
so.
if Dark can beat off to them
Yeah.
or not.
What happened? What happened
I
to
can't.
Dom?
I
is
can't fap to these guys.
damn
Can't do it.
Doesn't Dom die?
How they go about
Spoiler.
the story over 3 games is pretty awesome, from a writing standpoint. Like what happened to his wife and his death scene. It was really great.
No, that was just again like a rehash of
watching
any
him die was
stereotypical
amazing.
action movie. Oh my god, I've
When's
lost
the
my
last
wife.
time-
It's
When's the last time you
terrible.
were like, oh my god, this is the most original thing I've ever seen in my life?
All right, stereotypical gay talking about stereotypes. I can't
Say
talk.
stereotypical 3 times.
Stereotypical.
Okay. So speaking
Hi,
of
I'm
remastered, by the way,
retarded.
speaking of remastered, on the 20th of this month, on all the next gens, the original Resident Evil HD remastered, and it'll only be for $19.99. And I suggest everyone pick it up. If you didn't play this on the original PlayStation, it was the bomb.
Did they retool the controls? Because
Yes.
that's the only thing that made it hard.
From what I
was the
understand, they
controls.
retooled the controls and they did redid the cinematics. So yes,
I mean, I don't know why. I fucking loved the game when it first came out, but trying to replay it again after playing other games, it was one of the first games I ever played. I'm like, holy shit, this controls like ass, and that's the only reason why it was hard.
Well,
it was a super easy game if it wasn't for the controls. Like the controls are fighting
that and the
against you
camera
the whole
angle.
time.
The camera angle changed at random points. when you
Yeah,
would
so you
back
can't
up and move
see
forward.
this. You can't see anything coming at you, or there's a zombie there, and you know you should be shooting, but you can't see them to shoot it. Yeah, yeah.
But you did have to admit that the best part about that was the soundtrack, just hearing the zombies moving around, the
Yes.
creaking and
Fuck yeah.
the barking and everything in the background noises. Because I remember I was in high school when that game came out, and we bought it. And one Friday night, we were really drunk at my parents' house, picked it
Last
up,
Friday night.
and we popped it on the big screen in the living room and turned up the stereo, and you could just hear the background noise. And I'm going to tell you, if you guys remember this, we had the original Marilyn Manson Antichrist Superstar. We played that in the
Nice.
background with that
Nice.
game, and that fucked with our heads. Like, it fucked with our heads.
I tell you, that's where a lot of modern survival horror games fall flat on their face. Is that like Resident Evil, the first ones anyway, and the first Silent Hill 1 and 2, were able to get to build this sense of dread
Yeah.
inside of you, where it wasn't the fact that you had action, these zombies just popping out like, oh my god, jump scare. It wasn't. There were not jump scares. There was just this sense
was
of
the-
dread, and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, what's coming up next? And just the fact that it was a slow burn,
It was
and you
the
kept on,
ambiance.
yeah, and you kept on going through, and you have all these sound effects going on. And you're like, oh my god, there's something going on. I'm getting close to something, and you get paranoid. You get fucking paranoid, and you're like wishing your
man.
character could actually see more than that it can actually see, and that's what really gets you. And like with the next gen consoles, with the really far draw distance and everything, it's like they haven't been able to get that tap into that primal fear of what really gets you going, that paranoia, and oh my god, what's behind this next corner? I don't know, but I don't want to find out because I know it's going to kill me. I just want to run away and hide.
They do seem a lot of the horror games do seem to be more focused on popping out and just pure
Yeah,
jump scares.
And that's
That
fine
be-
if you're going to label it as an action game. That's fine for an action game, but it's not survival horror, because
Yeah,
horror is
not that.
it's survival. Even it could be horror, it could be action survival, but it's not horror. Horror is its own thing, and we've kind of lost touch.
The
with that.
original Silent Hill was so creepy, and it wasn't.
Yes.
I mean, just every single minute you played that game, you would become more and more terrified because of what you heard and what you saw. Because I remember playing that game, and when you go into the school, even with the graphics being bad, this fucking baby ghost just walks down the hall next to you. You're like, what the fuck was that? I mean, it really got in your head. And like you said, it's just about the cheap scare now. That's how most of the horror games are.
Well, even
And-
then in Silent Hill 1 and 2, like what you're talking about with the baby ghost,
Yeah.
it wasn't just a child ghost there just for the fact that, oh yeah, children, ghosts, they're creepy, let's throw it in there. But in the first few games like that, everything that you saw was related to the psychological
State of mind your character was
of the
in.
character. Yeah, it all related back to the character. Like in the second one, where you had the nurses, all the faceless nurses, all dressed up or in that, like they were contorted. They were like sexualized, but they were also contorted in a weird, evil sort of way. And that all went back to the frame of mind that the main character was coming from. So it, like, watching all these horrors unfold told you a lot about the psychological state of the character you were playing.
Yeah.
And that's completely been lost in the more modern games. Well, aside from I think Amnesia: The Dark Descent. That's one where they've kind of gone back to that. It's not perfect.
Well, I
by
heard
any
The
means,
Evil
but
Within is good. It's a mix of psychological and.
I've
just
not played
scary.
that, but I've heard similar things about it. I've not played it though, so I don't know.
Speaking
Are
of
we
one
still
game that
going?
should be remade based on it, kind of mess with your head, was the first Max Payne. I liked that one.
I
just
never
want to
played
remaster
that.
Crash
Never played
Bandicoot.
it.
I want Conkers. If we're gonna remaster games, we need Conkers.
Dude, if
Conker's
Naughty
bad
Dog,
for a day.
Yes.
Naughty Dog made us a new Crash Bandicoot, I would be like, here's the PS4, I want it. Here's my money.
Yeah.
Take it.
What happened to that franchise? Because they were like
Naughty
right-
Dog actually sold it to Activision, and then
Yes.
Activision did shit with it and took it to multiple consoles, and basically turned it into an abomination.
Yeah, because I thought there for a while it was competing with Rare with their Banjo and Kazooie, then Banjo
yeah,
and
it was.
Tooie games. Like
It
it
was
was
like-
the same thing but different.
Crash was
Then
the
Banjo
most
3, but that never-
recognizable mascot of like the 96 through 99. Like he
You know,
beat
same
out
thing happened
Mario, beat out everything else, and then they fucked over the franchise.
Same thing happened with Spyro the Dragon. It had several really good games, and then it just
Yeah.
kind of like fizzled into
I'm-
obscurity.
Yeah, I just
No,
I'm
it's
playing through part
it's
one right now. It's so
Skylanders.
good.
Skyrim's are
Yeah,
Spyro's
Spyro's in
Skyrim.
High, yeah.
Just because he's in
Skylanders.
it doesn't mean it's.
So yeah, I want to
He's
like
still
a
in it,
remake
like
or
he's still a
remaster.
thing.
Yeah, I'm talking like Spyro as the lead because he's awesome.
Yeah, the next Spyro game, just by itself, not as part of it. It seemed like the Skylanders was just as like the awkward side thing. If they actually made another one, that would be interesting.
Yeah,
Especially
I'd
with the
really
different
like it if it
graphics
was an
and stuff.
original game with its own thing, or even just a remake of the first
The
Spyro
remake
the
of
Dragon.
the earlier ones, like the PS1 games, that would be a really drastic change.
Yeah, it'd be cool if they did like MCC, but not fuck it up because there's no multiplayer, so they can't fuck it up. You know, bringing the first 3 or 4 games on one CD.
Okay, I'm going to present one game and tell me if I'm crazy. This needs to be remastered. Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
Yeah, dude.
That would
Yeah.
be amazing.
Yes. Do
Same,
it.
same soundtrack. Add
Oh,
more
the
80s.
soundtrack is like one
best
of the
part of the
top
game,
5
right?
of all time.
Yeah.
Because Vice City was Grand Theft Auto when it was in its heyday before it tried to become too serious and
Yeah.
too much of whatever the fuck it is now. I don't approve of it at
Right
all.
now,
But
it's
Vice City,
right now it's satire on console, basically.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't even do a good job of satire because there's other games that make fun of
there's-
Grand Theft Auto.
There
It's
is
like,
such a thing as too much satire. You know, like it's really great that the Colbert Report was only basically 20 minutes long with commercials. An hour and a half of that would just be way too much. You know?
Yeah.
And there's too much. Like there's some really great parts about like with Grand Theft Auto. Like one of my favorites is that commercial about the cloud when it's on the radio. I hear it and I laugh every time. You know?
I feel like the newest Saints Row games are actually better Grand Theft Auto games than the newest Grand Theft
Because
Auto games are.
they're going off of the old model of it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like everything I loved about Grand Theft Auto is still preserved in Saints Row, whereas the new Grand Theft Auto is like, you know, if I wanted to play a Mafia game that was actually straight-faced and trying to take itself seriously, I would totally get my own Mafia game, but I'm not interested in that. I like the quirky personality and the...
That's why I play Grand Theft Autos for the Mafia game.
Wow, you're weird.
Hey, I mean,
Well,
it's
it's like-
still
I don't
pretty
think
good.
so. It's pretty awesome.
Grand Theft
It's a
Auto
crime.
is
They do
still
they do a
pretty
wonderful
nuts.
job.
Trevor's pretty crazy, which I like.
I love Trevor. He's my
Well, like,
favorite.
I like
Grand
the
Theft
I like
Auto-
the- I-
San Andreas is where they jumped the shark, and where we kind of like San Andreas was like the birth of what Saints Row would become. You know, because like the stuff with the jetpack, and you could like spawn in that Harrier that could do whatever the fuck you wanted, and like a lot of
Yeah,
it.
I did fall out of love with Grand Theft Auto with the what's it called? You just said it.
San
That one.
Andreas.
San Andreas, yeah, I did fall out of love with it because at that point in time, it felt like it was taking itself too seriously, and I just didn't like that. I like a game that is not afraid to poke fun of itself and know what it is and be able to say, yeah, I know what I am, and it's wonderful and it's fun, and you can just go ahead and run over hookers and
I
other
was just like, at that point,
pedestrians
I
on
was
the
like,
side of the
they
road.
could be paying child support. This game is too real. Too real.
Yeah, I'm like I don't. I can see everything that I saw in that version of Grand Theft Auto on the Maury show, and I don't want to play that. I'm just not interested at all.
GTA
so
5 's
you didn't
awesome.
like the newest
Yeah.
iteration of the game?
It's still too something. It's too brown. It's
He
too
doesn't-
lifeless.
He
It's
doesn't know what he doesn't like about it. He just doesn't like it because he's a hipster.
that's
I
right.
think it was still like the multi, maybe not if you didn't like the story, that's one thing, but I think the wide
the-
range of multiplayer interactions
It's
that
not
I've
the
seen-
multiplayer. It's I don't care for the multiplayer. It's the characters of the game
course you
itself. Like I just don't give two shits about
Hmm.
anybody in the game, and that's fine
That's
if
your
it's
own problem.
it's fine if the game is supposed to be just funny and do whatever you want. But like the whole storyline, nothing about the storyline captured me. It's like okay. Whatever, you're pissed off, they're pissed off, you have an attitude, you're gonna shoot people, they're gonna shoot people. I don't give a fuck.
Well,
Whatever.
at the same time, I feel like GTA 5, it's not taking itself seriously. It's just a fun story with great game mechanics, and I
You
mean,
can kill them in the end if you want.
exactly.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Of all,
And
Yeah,
what,
it
what
also
saved, what saved
encourages
us,
kind
what
of the
saved the
random
characters was
exploring
Trevor.
to do just whatever you want. You can like go shoot this,
Yeah,
fly a
if
car over
you
it
like the
and-
game, that's fine. If you like the story, if you like the characters, that's fine. I'm not gonna like talk bad about it. Like I'm just saying, for me, I just didn't. It didn't connect with me. I didn't care about anybody in the story.
That's because you're not a member of the mafia.
Oh, that's
can't
my problem.
hang, bro.
I had no idea. Yeah, I had no idea you were such a pristine member in the mafia. Nobot.
Yeah, dude.
I tip my hat to you and
Just so
your
you
bad
guys know,
jokes.
I have a buddy that's from the FARC wrestling community. The website FARC. There's a group of us that post in wrestling threads.
Mark is still around.
Yes, it is, and
my
we
goodness.
actually are carrying the website. Thank you very much. Super Campion's in our chat right now, but he has a friend that's working on Superman, Batman right now.
Ooh, give us all the secrets.
See, that's why you need to be a part of FARC, because you'll know cool people like this. Cool is in quotation marks, because I don't know if that's actually.
Well, actually, yes,
cool,
because
but
one of my other
kinda
buddies
cool.
from FARC writes for Deadspin. Bubba Frog.
Okay.
What's that?
All right. So
Yeah.
you also write for the Latino Review. You also write for FARC, dude. You write everywhere.
I can't tell you.
No. He
I
doesn't
will-
wait for FARC. He is FARC.
I will.
He is being fake far.
You're FARC.
I am Finn.
Oh my
Fang.
God.
I'm Triple F. That is me. That is I. Yes. Also, just so you know, if you know how to Google very wisely, you will find a history on the internet that I did write for MTV Magazine. Just so you know.
Well, yeah, you did mention that in a past podcast or something. Or
Oh,
other.
yeah,
I remember you saying that before.
Shit. Yeah. So yes,
Way to go, Blabbermouth.
I technically worked
you
for MTV.
stole your own thunder.
Yeah.
Are you the guy who made them stop playing music videos on TV? Because I hate you.
They still
yeah,
do.
Is that
I told
your
them
fault?
They
I was
honestly
joking
still
when
do.
I was joking when I said this network needs more whores, and they actually took me literally. So yeah.
So Jersey Shore is your fault.
no,
Wow, dude.
I will
Fuck
never
you.
take credit for that.
Let's start that rumor.
That was
Yeah, you
a
won't
here
take
in
credit,
the
but we
Latino
still
podcast.
know it's your fault.
The
Yeah.
writer for the Latino Review.
So, how
is the
many
reason
different
for
things are we
Jersey
going to
Shore.
take the fault for?
Oh my God.
Time travel basically solves all this. So we're just
I
going to
will
go
not
with
take.
that.
I will
Yes,
not
time
take
shenanigans.
for 9/11. Will not do that.
No, that's
Time-
nobody's
Oh,
fault.
wibbly wobbly. We're
Yeah.
calling it-
No, I
9/11.
mean
9/11 was Nobot's fault.
LBF.
Yeah, honestly,
hacked Sony.
I just
Whoa,
I was just throwing pennies
none of
at
us
the
are
end.
that smart, like at all.
Down a airplane. They crash into a building. I'm sorry.
And just
It happens.
if you guys aren't reading the chat, my buddy is like posting some serious storytelling about Batman, Superman.
Yeah, I'm seeing this right now, and
Oh.
because I'm not a. I don't.
Screenshot.
Wow, that's
You
that's,
hear to hear, guys? All that shit he said, yeah, that's us.
Wow.
We're because of that.
You know, if you're
Okay.
listening to this podcast after it's been aired live, you're missing out on the Twitch chat because I'm not going to
Yeah,
tell you.
I
you
did.
should
I
have been
haven't
here.
put
You come
the
watch
Twitch
live
chat
stream
on
at some
the
point.
even on the feed, so it's really only a pleasure for the literal live audience at the moment.
Yeah.
Tariq
I was
called us
definitely
TFT,
sharing
the
all of it
foreign
on
time
Facebook.
travelers.
Forum
Well, that's
Time
too many
Travelers. I
Ts.
love it.
Time forum travelers.
The Forum Time Travelers.
That's
I
too many
like it.
T's. Too many T's.
Okay, so
No.
we're at an hour and a half, guys. What do we do
Wait,
here?
what is it? The Batman game?
Yes.
Is that?
Keep
We
going.
spit and spew for another 45 minutes. Who's editing this one?
I would,
Let's
I,
make
like,
it
I say we
longest
wrap this up.
podcast.
I would like to.
I say
pick
we
the
wrap this
thing.
up.
We can't make it a 2-hour podcast and split into two. We could just not do one next week. You know, have
No,
a
because
break.
I don't
Are
know
we?
when Ken and
So
my
are
cousin
we
are going to
agreed
come
that
home.
we're editing Nobot out of this entire
Yes,
podcast?
edit him out.
That's
I-
that's
do
very
that.
possible. Yes, it is.
I
not
say
do
nay
that.
to that. I say nay to that.
We can
say yes
redact
to
him.
that.
Yes.
I refuse redaction on the channels that
Much
I'm
like
involved with.
Smiths, we can redact him.
Explicitly deleted.
I like the TFTTs. Yeah, that's a good one, Tari.
We have the technology.
I'm just gonna
TFTs.
change it and make it the Tejan cast, and it'll be this hour-long thing. And Tejan will just be saying random stuff without context to some people.
we are
You
La
have-
Forum Thread podcast.
You have enough content probably there to just 2 hours is just me being completely random.
So, what are we doing? What are we doing after this podcast? We got any?
We're gonna go
videos,
watch
any
TFT
recording going on?
Smash.
TFT
Yeah, you
Smash.
are.
Oh, we're doing the
I
live
actually-
commentary.
I do need to
Yeah.
watch that.
Oh, that's gonna be great.
Are,
I'm
are
so
you
down.
guys,
Let's do it.
who want? We can stream it on Twitch and we just
We
talk
can.
about it.
Yeah,
that
we
would
can.
be great, dude.
Okay,
Which
cool.
one?
Let's go do that
episode
now.
four?
You want to start
Okay,
from episode
we,
one?
we do need to say goodbye for at least this
Okay, so
podcast.
yeah,
so
so
just
this
for the
this has
podcast.
been the 92nd episode of the Forum Thread podcast,
Good gosh.
and
92. Why? God, did anybody think we would go this long?
No. I
We
don't
had
know.
no
I
idea.
did.
We just did it.
You know,
Dude,
it's
I
kind of
just-
funny. I
Nobody-
think I jumped on. What was it?
Nobody.
I think I jumped on podcast number 3. Was it 3? I think.
It
You
was
were
either
like
3 or
way at the
4.
beginning.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was either 3 or 4.
and I could tell you the first first 5 were very interesting, and you can listen if you want to go back. You'll listen to the
No,
evolution.
don't do it. Don't do it.
The evolution.
It's embarrassing.
podcast.
Don't do it.
Now, what was the
learn
subject of the
the
first
secrets of time
podcast? Something
travel.
about licking?
Yeah,
let me lick
honestly,
you.
the first podcast was really great because Dark One Dry had some great stories. Like honestly, it was
That was
still
the
a good
introduction of Drunk
podcast.
One Dry.
Yeah, listening to those
Yeah.
podcasts made me realize I'm not allowed to tell stories when I'm drunk on the internet anymore because it's a bad idea.
But you saved our
Aw.
podcast. Honestly, if you didn't tell those stories, we wouldn't have this podcast right now.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Thanks, Dark.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Dark.
That's why, but this is why I don't tell stories anymore. Because damn,
Then you have heartwarming moments 92 weeks later.
Yeah.
then I have to worry about what the fuck did I say last night?
95
Is
weeks
someone
later.
gonna listen to this and be mad at me?
Let's just sit here and congratulate ourselves for getting to 92.
I'm patting myself. on the
We're
back
not even.
right now.
We're about to hit a milestone, but we're just gonna sit here and celebrate
Yeah,
at 92.
92.
Here's what I think.
Pre-
How about we just get to podcast 99 and just call it quits?
Yeah.
Fuck with everybody.
Fuck
And
you,
then
everybody.
and then it
All
RTX.
5 viewers will be disappointed.
Oh, no, no, no.
TFT Podcast 2, Episode 1.
We reboot ourselves after
Oh,
90.
Season-
the
season
new
2.
52. Oh.
I was gonna say,
Have
all you make for a teaser for the RTX panel is just a sign that says 100, and you leave it at that. That's all you have.
Should we split our podcast into seasons? Like, should that be a thing? Like each
No.
year is a new season, so people know, so people can bookmark, and if they ever want to go back and watch.
I don't think there's the flow of the podcast. There's not a distinct, like, you go back and it is a big change, but it's a gradual change, gradual
change.
improvement on different parts, gradual improvement on both mic quality and just
Everybody
That's
got
something
better
we can
mics.
experiment with in the future.
Yeah, I mean, we start off
1033
knowing absolutely no idea what we're supposed to be doing with this thing, and then we actually get a little bit better with it. So yeah, that's
And-
how it
yeah,
works.
now we've spawned a gameplay and let's play channel that is actually doing quite nicely now.
Oh yeah, and for anybody that has not seen the newest TFT Talks silence.
Silence.
I am failing at these. This
I'm gonna put out episode 4, and it's just gonna be a blank audio with one word said.
Yeah,
No,
TFT
no,
Talks
just look-
Silence.
Here's what you do.
TFT Talks Science, and it has the infamous Ken.
I thought it was
Talking
TFT
with
Talks
Low
Ken.
Cell. It is TFT Talks Ken. That's really what it
Getting
is.
Ken, like, the channeling of one's inner.
No,
Power.
just stop. No, Bob, just stop.
Pageman just pointed out that he's been on a podcast, I think number 20, with JJ and Lizzo. Remember, we've had some Rooster Teeth staff, and
Yeah.
Never
Yeah, you're
for-
welcome.
Well,
you should get back on that, buddy.
past staff.
I can do my best, but I don't think
I
Barbara's
I don't
ever
want to
gonna
talk
come back.
about that. Really,
don't want to talk about that? Yeah.
Nah, let's leave that for another thing.
I,
Yeah.
I think.
We've
Let's-
gone
let's-
a
let's-
good
Let's end this
while.
podcast so we can go do other stuff.
Hey, can
Yeah.
I pick
Alright.
something?
Okay, so Teach and Lee, do your thing.
All right.
Wait, hold
thank you,
on. I think Mr. Warburg has something he wants to
Yeah,
say.
I do.
Yes. Pimp it.
Finally. Anyway, yeah, my buddy and I, Joey,
it's a-
we are
if it's-
starting a new gameplay channel called Farm Nerds.
Oh my god, that's
And
not
the
a
wa-
part of us. Go away.
The website's up. I'd appreciate it if people would check it out.
Farm
all
What's
I
it
got
called
is-
again?
Farm Nerds.
So go to youtube.com/
That we don't have a custom URL for the website for the
Search.
channel yet. They changed
Damn.
what you need to get a custom URL since I made mine for Mr. Warper.
We have a custom URL.
Fucking-
It's
pretty cool,
changed now. You have to have 500 subscribers or like a few other things. It's not what it used
Hear
to
that,
be.
guys? We actually have 500 subscribers.
No,
You
we
just
don't
don't
have
know
that.
about it.
Yeah.
No.
They
Well, I guess
changed.
I'm very lucky to have mine. It's like I've had my Chaos Manners ever since. Like I didn't even put out any videos at that point. I just had the channel.
Okay. So,
There's something I want to nitpick about. They have their own website. Hey, Tejan, what's happening with our website?
It's being made. Shut up.
All right.
So thanks everybody for watching. You can follow us on Twitter. You can @ the forum thread. You can follow @ TFT Plays to follow all of our video game efforts. And
Yes.
you can subscribe to us on YouTube, TFT Productions, and TFT Plays. You can find us on roosterteeth.com as the forum thread group. You can also go to the original forum thread, where if you don't know how to communicate with us in that thread, then I don't know how to help you. There's a dog in the background. The official TFT dog. You can also
That's
find
funny.
us on Facebook. You can like us and pay attention to us there. And SoundCloud. Does anybody still use that?
Also, check out this ass. Editor,
Got to give
put
a
picture of an
shout
ass
out
on the screen.
to Moobot in the chat, who before Tejan started his spiel already linked everything
All
in
you
the
have to-
chat.
You must.
Oh,
You
oh,
are the
it's
man. We
it's
love
a-
you.
I love Moobot.
And just
I
so
love
you
that
guys
guy.
know, the TFT Plays is our extension of the TFT Productions.
Yes.
Exactly.
TFT Smash has been a very entertaining series. So if you haven't watched it, you need to go. Just all you have to do is go to YouTube, search TFT Smash, and watch all 4
First thing that
episodes.
shows up, yeah.
Not only
Yeah.
that, I'm
Four
going to be live
episodes out.
streaming gaming videos onto this
Quite that
right
big,
here, the forum thread. I'm going to be live streaming it here. When it's not podcast, I'll be live streaming.
Okay. With that said,
it's not.
thank you.
Good night, everybody. We love you. Mwah.
Lucas,
Bye.
Peace
Lucas,
out.
do it.
Always make sure to eat breakfast before dinner.
Don't eat yellow snow.